Thieves like you make me sick. The officer barked, slamming cold steel cuffs onto her wrists. His tone was venom, his grip bruising. The crowd gasped. Some fumbled for their phones, eager to record the humiliation. Others looked away, unwilling to interfere, but the woman silent, steady, unbroken stare back with eyes that carried more authority than the officers could ever imagine. The supermarket buzz of chatter and clinking carts died instantly when two officers stormed down aisle 7. Shoppers froze, eyes wide, as the men in uniform grabbed the black woman's arms and yanked them behind her back. Her shopping bag slipped from her fingers, spilling groceries across the linoleum floor. A loaf of bread rolled beneath a rack. A bottle of milk toppled, cracked open, and spread into a white puddle. The scene was grotesque in its absurdity. This much force, this much anger for what? A bag of food? The taller officer shoved her forward, his jaw clenched, his voice raised for the crowd to hear. You thought you were slick, didn't you? Stuffing things in your bag while no one was looking. Every head turned. Parents shielded their children. Teenagers smirked and raised their phones, eager to capture the drama. Customers whispered, judgment dripping from every word. Yet through it all, she remained silent. Her stillness wasn't weakness, it was composure. But in their eyes, her calm was mistaken for guilt. As they dragged her toward the registers. One officer leaned in close, his sneer so sharp it almost cut. Shoplifters always think they're smarter than everyone else. Guess you're not. She stumbled, catching herself before falling. But she didn't look at him. She didn't plead. Instead, she lifted her chin and looked straight ahead, her eyes distant, her mind elsewhere. The crowd's silence became complicity. Their stares turned her humiliation into entertainment. What no one in that store knew was the truth she carried. Under her skin, this woman was not a thief. She was a decorated police captain. 20 years on the force. Commendations for bravery. A leader who had trained and protected countless officers, including some who now patrolled this very city. She had faced riots, standoff, armed men who sneered at her authority. She had worn her uniform like armor, carrying the weight of responsibility every single day. And now here she was, treated like a criminal for the simple act of buying groceries. The officers grew louder, their confidence feeding off the crowd's silence. Calm face doesn't fool me, one officer said, jerking her forward. I've seen it before. Criminals always look calm when they think they've gotten away with it. His words carried, bouncing off the walls, settling in the ears of every bystander. People nodded, whispering agreement. The story had already been written in their minds. Guilty until proven innocent. She clenched her jaw. Still no words. Still no struggle. Only patience, simmering beneath the surface. They dragged her past the registers where employees stood frozen, too afraid to intervene. The manager whispered, "Maybe we should wait. Maybe this is a mistake." But his words were drowned out by the officer's bark commands. Her lips finally moved, barely audible, but deliberate. Just a little longer, she whispered to herself. It wasn't a plea. It was a promise, and then fate intervened. As one officer shoved her, something slipped from her pocket and fell onto the shiny tile with a sharp metallic clang. Heads turned. The officer bent to pick it up. His eyes widened. His grip faltered. In his hand was not a stolen item. It was a badge, a heavy silver badge engraved with authority. "Police captain." The store erupted. "She's a captain?" One man shouted. "You arrested one of your own." Another gasped. The teenagers who had laughed lowered their phones in shame. Parents shook their heads, explaining in hushed voices to their children. Employees exchanged stunned glances. The officers stood frozen, the weight of humiliation now pressing on their shoulders. At last, she spoke. Her voice was steady, sharp, and commanding, each word a dagger of truth. "I've commanded men braver than you. I've stood on front lines where silence could cost lives. And tonight, you prove silence can also reveal truth." Her words carried through the store, echoing off the shelves. The officers trembled, fumbling with the keys to unlock her cuffs. Their hands shook as they freed her wrists. Their heads bowed like guilty schoolboys. The woman stood tall, rubbing her wrists. She turned to face the crowd, her presence filling the entire room. Respect is not about the uniform, she said. Respect is about humanity. Every camera captured her words. Every heart in that store felt the weight of them. Hours later, the footage spread across social media like wildfire. Outrage erupted. The officers were suspended. The store issued a public apology, and the woman once humiliated in front of strangers was now hailed as a hero who reminded the world that justice begins when dignity is defended.